When life gives you crap, then use it as fertilizer. Decades ago, when I first started out upon the Buddha's path of Tantra, I hoped that my teachers were truly magical. And in my hubris, I indulged my controlling tendencies, striving to coerce them into teaching me their magic, promising them that by overcoming my adversities, I'd have more time and energy to traverse the Buddha's path. However, to my very great disappointment, they insisted that my troubles were not obstacles to the path, but were in fact the path itself in disguise. Most of us have been conditioned to dislike it when our mind wanders, but nothing seems to hold the mind in place, quite like fear or anger, quite like disturbing memories or desires, frustrated. When, during inhalations and mindfulness, our mind alights upon a perception quite distressing, let us exercise the courage to viscerally notice it with great vulnerability. And as inevitably we exhale, let us physically relax and mentally release effortlessly, thus exercising evolution's birthright of meditation. I look forward to chanting and meditating with you this evening after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I spent more than 8 hours a day, every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings so that you would not have to. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. To your very good health. Let us play with the sadhana version of the Song of Enlightenment written by Yongjia Xuanzhui in the 6th century, translated by Red Pine, adapted and amplified by yours truly. Let us begin, not with prayer to real or imagined entities, but instead by playing with words to exercise the neural pathways responsible for empathy's bodhicitta and enthusiasm's refuge. We're going to play with two versions. The first is rather literal, and we're going to set it to a triplet chant. The other morning, my tantric partner explained to me that in the evening prior, I was chanting this in my sleep. There's no escape from the teachings. Together. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. So these three nouns at the bottom that are highlighted are so useful that over the centuries they've earned the metaphoric nickname of the three wish-fulfilling jewels, kind of like Aladdin's lamp. This version of the same sentiment is more concise and more figurative, and we're setting it to the bookend chant, which is our go-to melody. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. Just as our first bicycle came with training wheels, clunky but effective, this evening's first meditation is also ungainly. As we inhale, we could silently and mentally recite perceiving, this very turbulent play of mind. And as we exhale, we could silently and mentally recite relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. With each inhalation, do your best to invite vertical traction between your head and your tuchus. During your exhalation, please relax as best you can. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist chanting, or how to apply them to your life, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. I think it would be quite lovely if a bit of the old, what's it called? Cut and paste. There we go. Together. Do you not see all the followers of the way? Not studying, not busy, not getting rid of delusions, not looking for the truth. The true nature of their ignorance is the Buddha nature. Their illusory empty bodies is the Dharma body. Their Dharma body, they realize, does not include a thing. Their original nature is the primordial Buddha. The five skandhas are but clouds floating aimless in the skies. The three poisons are like mere bubbles appearing then gone. Seeing what is real but not persons or things, they instantly quench the fires of hell. Meanwhile, those who deceive others with lies spend kalpas having their tongues torn out. Beware of teachers who try to make the path more difficult than it need be. Instant understanding is the Tathagata meditation. Every practice and perfection is present in your body. The six passive existence look real in a dream. Once you're awake, the whole universe is gone. No punishments or blessings, nothing lost or gained. As for the heart of nirvana, do not ask for directions. Recording that unpublished dust-covered mirror, it is time you took a closer look. Who has no thoughts, who is not born? What truly is not born is not born. Ask a mechanical man made of wood, how is that crash for Buddhahood coming? Let us not be foolish ideologues who try to maintain the thoughtlessness of a tailor's mannequin. Be human. Think what you think. It's okay. Let's remove the first of two metaphoric training wheels and reduce our contemplative exercises from 12 syllables down to just 3 syllables per breath. If you're fancy, you could call this Sati Pasadi's mindfulness meditation, the 7th and 8th folds of the Buddha's path. If you do it enthusiastically, that is the 6th fold. As we inhale, we could silently and mentally recite, notice this, and as we exhale, we could silently and mentally recite, relaxing. One moment, if you please. Let go your grip on the material world. In the heart of nirvana, eat and drink your fill. Practices are ephemeral, everything is empty. This is the perfect enlightenment of the Buddhas. Speaking with conviction is a sign of a true monk. Those unable indulge in asking questions. Suffering roots is what marks a Buddha. Picking through leaves and twigs is not for me. People do not notice the jewel among jewels, waiting for them in the Tathagata Garbha. Its sixfold power is neither empty nor not, its perfect light neither visible nor not. Purify the 5 roots and acquire the 5 abilities, only then will you know what can not be measured. An image in a mirror is not hard to see, but try to grab the moon in the water. Setting out alone, walking alone, those who arrive take the nirvana road. Their appearance ancient, the manner detached, ragged and gaunt, they are not noticed. Disciples without means, they are called poor, poor in possessions but not in freedom. Being poor, of course, they wear hemp. Their practice is treasuring the jewel within. Now let us remove the second of 2 metaphoric training wheels, reducing our contemplative exercises from 3 syllables per breath down to just one. For fancy, we could refer to this as dhyana's mindfulness and meditation. During each inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. During each exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the monosyllabic verb ease, which functions as a synonym of relax. Welcome aboard. At any point during this evening's live stream, you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, or about what we're chanting, what it means, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. Together. This priceless jewel with inexhaustible uses, it never withholds its help or response. The 3 bodies and 4 insights are present within, the 8 freedoms and 6 powers all mark the mind. Gifted people grasp it all concerning the way at once. Lesser minds hear but are not enthusiastic. Thinking about changing their clothes, they claim they are making progress. The foolish master in superficialities. Let people mock another, speak ill of you. Let them tire themselves out praying to burn the sky. Hearing the words is like tasting sweet dew. I swallow and suddenly enter the inconceivable. So let's take a moment to look at this a little deeper. On one hand, you got folks who are following the path of Yang, who think it's a marvelous idea to be rigid, fearful, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. And on the other hand, you got people who are following the path of Yin, who think it's marvelous to be flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. That first group delight in making things as difficult and complicated as possible. The second group delights in making things as easy and as quick as possible. That second group is very much live and let live. That first group is very much, hey, if you don't do things my way, then you should die horribly. And they're very, very cranky and cruel. Together. In hateful words I see a chance for merit. They have become my closest advisors. Not letting ridicule make enemies of friends. I show the power of accepting that nothing is born. Know the words and know the source, do not over-focus on the emptiness of wisdom's light of perception and cessation. This is not something I alone have learned. Countless Buddhists have realized this too. The lion roars and speaks without fear. Lesser beasts hear and cower in fright. Wild elephants cease a rampaging way. Sky dragons listen in silent rapture. Now that we have reached what I like to call cruising altitude, let's together as a team meditate as transformatively as Rey on Ahch-To under the guidance of Luke Skywalker. Let us now practice the Great Seal. Together. I have traveled great rivers, crossed mountains and streams, seeking teachers and masters to better understand meditation. Ever since taking the Cow River Road, I have discovered life and death have no hold on me. This is speaking metaphorically. So as we breathe in, we can notice our cravings for life. As we exhale, we can release those cravings. As we breathe in, we could feel our aversion, our dread of death. As we exhale, we can release that dread. And you might say, well, we only exhale for a moment. That's okay. That's part of the process. We notice and release. Lather, rinse, repeat. Walking is meditation, sitting is meditation, speaking or silent, moving or still I am at peace. Even at night fight I remain unmoved, even poisons cannot affect me. Before my teacher, the Buddha met Dipankara, he spent kalpas as Kyanti the ascetic. So, just like the sixth Chan Patriarch, the author of this text considered the Buddha, the sutras, to be his teacher. How many births, how many deaths, births and deaths go on without end. Since I suddenly realize nothing is born, I treat fame and shame the same. I moved to a mountain and found a quiet place, deep and secluded beneath tall pines. An outsider monk, I enjoy sitting still. Settled at last, I am truly at peace. What is the test of a teacher? Is it their popularity, their beauty, their prestige, their wealth? Or is the test of a teacher the efficacy of the techniques they give you, provided you actually apply them? Those who are awake do not engage in giving gifts. In a world of conditioned things, however, it is different. Let us put aside the world's foolish games. Giving also a good rebirth, one is still attached to form. You may as well shoot an arrow into the sky. Its momentum spent, an arrow falls back to earth, resulting in another disappointing life. Unlike the door to the real and unconditioned, once you step through, you are in the Buddha realm. Striving for a better rebirth is still striving. All striving ends in disappointment. Practice the path of contentment, and in a ridiculously short amount of time, you can master it. Now it's time for a bit of the old Sudra Mahamudra. Ignore the twigs and look for the root, the jewel of the moon in pure aquamarine. Once you grab this wish-fulfilling pearl, it's up to you and others never ends. Moon on the river, wind in the pines, why is the sky so clear all night? The pearl of the Buddha, nature precepts marks the mind, mist and clouds shroud the body. The essence of all precepts, the essence of morality, is simply the practice of mindfulness and meditation. Do that, and the love you experience for others will be spontaneous and uncontrived. My greedy dragon subduing bolt and my hateful tiger calming staff, with his two rings echoing on the trail. It is not for pointing out the mundane, but for pointing out the tracks left by the Tathagata's precious staff. Do not search for the truth and do not dismiss delusion. Realize both are empty and have no form. No form but either empty nor not empty. That is the Tathagata's real form. Tathagata literally translates as "thus come one." It is simply one of many synonyms for the Buddha. Nothing obstructs the mirror of the mind, illuminating a universe of countless realms, where millions of images appear, nothing inside nor outside the perfect light. Saying everything is empty, they dismiss the laws of karma. Such recklessness is sure to bring misfortune. Renouncing existence for emptiness is the same as jumping into a fire to escape a flood. A fool abandons empathy and justifies it, or strives to justify it, with pious-sounding philosophies. However, the test of our spiritual accomplishment is not the superciliousness of our babbling, but the profundity of our love. Come, let us practice Chan. Letting illusions go and grasping the truth. The letting go, grasping mind as a master of disguise. Students unaware who take this for the practice. Mistake a thief for their child. Number 1. Just because we use a pious-sounding term, such as letting go, to describe the folly of shoving something away, doesn't mean it's actually good for us. Number 2, although letting go is a natural act during each exhalation, picking things up and noticing them, metaphorically picking things up and actually noticing them during our inhalation, is also natural. We need both. Practicing one and forsaking the other is the short path to great destruction, great sorrow, great frustration, great yuckiness. Reducing your Dharma wealth or cancelling your merit invariably results from discriminations of the mind. That is why in meditation we set the mind aside. We use the power instead of accepting that nothing is born. The great Bodhisattva holding the figurative sword of wisdom with its un momento. And another. Together. The great Bodhisattva holding the figurative sword of wisdom, with his wisdom prajna blade in his indestructible Vajra flames. Not only did he cut through the mind of heretics, he ascended Mata's brazen ways. He shook his Dharma thunder and boopsie, He shook his Dharma thunder and beat his Dharma drum. He spread clouds of compassion and showers of sweet dew. The trampling of elephants covered the world with moisture. Whatever the path or lineage, everyone woke up. So this is important. There is no need for sectarianism. Elitism is poison. There is no need for secrets or hidden teachings or restricted texts. The people who fear restricted texts are either superstitious, lazy-minded, or know that if one learns from those texts, what they have been teaching will be shown for the folly it is. Himalayan butter with nothing added, it alone produces my favorite ghee. The nature that pervades all natures, the dharma that includes all dharmas. A single moon is reflected in every drop of water. Within every water drop is held a single moon. Every Buddhist Dharma body is my nature. My nature is one with every Tathagata. And so is yours. Now it's time for bits of the old Proto-Zen. At every stage, all stages are present, but not in form or mind and not in what you do. Snap your fingers and countless Dharma doors appear. 3 kalpas go by in an instant. The path is easier and quicker than it seems. As for all statements, make no statements. That means nothing to this enlightened nature of mine. It cannot be slandered and it cannot be praised. Like space, it has no boundaries. It is never not present and always clear, but look and you cannot see it. You cannot grasp it and you cannot let it go. When you cannot find it, that is when you will find it. It speaks when it is silent when it speaks. When the gate of gifts opens, nothing stands in its way. People ask what is the source of my understanding. I tell them the power of great wisdom. If it is not right or wrong, nobody knows. Take 2. If it is right or wrong, nobody knows. If it makes sense or not, the gods cannot tell. I have been practicing this for kalpas, and not just to make people confused. Flying the Dharma flag, announcing the school's doctrine. Clearly the Buddha's teachings are at Saoshi. Kashyapa was the first to transmit the lamp, the first of 28 generations in the West. The Dharma travels east and reached this land. Bodhidharma was our first patriarch, the first of 6 to wear the robe and spread the word. Those who understood it later were countless. Now it's time for the practice of great coalescence. We do not have other true delusions are already empty. We define what is and what is not, but we do not empty emptiness. It's 20 different kinds of no concern of ours. We share the universal Tathagata nature. The mind is a sense organ and objects or its sensations. Think of them as streaks on the mirror. And light finally shining when the streaks are gone. Forget the mind and objects, it is your nature that is real. It is an evil age and the Dharma is ending. People are not happy and lack self-control. Ignoring the sage from mistaken views, more becomes stronger as their hatred multiplies. Hearing about the Buddha's sudden teaching, they wish they could grind it into rubble. What needlessly arduous path the mind creates, the body suffers or injures. No need to claim injustice or shift the blame. If you are hoping to avoid karma's endless fires, do not criticize the Tathagata's true teaching. So, that's a figurative statement. We're not being told, turn or burn, believe or perish. We're being told that if your life sucks, apply the proper antidote. If you forsake the antidote, don't expect your life to get better. In a forest of nothing but sandalwood trees, where reddish lush and remote lions dwell, in the sylvan wooded quiet they roam where they will. Other beasts, even birds, keep their distance. Lion cubs all trail behind. By the time they are 3, they can roar. Foxes who follow the Dharma King. After lifetimes of mischief, they can only yap. Come, let us practice a bit of the old Mahasandhi. The sudden teaching of sphere of sentimentality. As long as doubts remain, arguments follow. This mountain monk is not just banging his drum. He cares who might fall into the nothing or forever trap. No or no, yes or not, yes. To miss by an inch is the same as 1,000 miles. Yes, and a dragon maiden suddenly became a Buddha. No, and Sunakshatra fell into hell alive. I learned a lot when I was young. I read sutras and shastras and studied commentaries. The names and terms never seemed to end. Like counting sound grains in the sea, it was such a waste of effort. Scolded by the Tathagata, what good is counting others' treasures? I realized all my efforts had been in vain. All the years I had wasted braving dust and wind. Misguided from the start, my misunderstanding wrong. I did not know how the Buddha's sudden teaching worked. Why devotees of lesser past did not see the way. Why unbelievers may be clever but not wise. They are so foolish, so stupid, pointing to their palm to explain what is real. Mistaking a finger for the moon, tuning objects of the senses into ghost stories. Let us now practice the great completion stage. All these synonyms for the same exercise. Who does not see a thing as a Tathagata, hence the name looking from on high. Those who understand are free of karmic burdens. Those who do not still have all debts to pay. A hunger that keeps them from enjoying even a royal meal. A sickness even a great physician cannot cure. Neo said to Morpheus, I can only show you the door. You must walk through it. Similarly, I cannot force you to chant. I cannot force you to meditate. The choice must be yours. To meditate despite desire is the power of prajna, and why our lotus is not burned in a fire. Yongshe committed crimes and realized nothing is born. He became a Buddha and is still one today. When the lion roars its fearless teaching, it pities confused obstinate fools, who only see offenses that prevent Buddhahood, blind to the secret the Tathagata revealed. I once stayed at Deer Park Monastery. There was this horrible monk who was not kind, who was not friendly, and who only spoke to criticize. Two monks were guilty of crime, so Judge Rupali with his firefly light, layman Vimalakati dismissed their doubts as the sun melts the snow. Inconceivable is the power of liberation, its uses as countless as the Ganges sands. Who would not give every possible offering, such as 10,000 ounces of gold? But even one's flesh and blood would fall short. The unsurpassed king of all dharmas, realized by more Buddhas than the Ganges has grains of sand. This wish of failing jewel I have revealed. May all who accept it do the same. Now let us slice through the duality of dread and desire. Look around, there is not a thing. There are no people, there are no Buddhas. All the worlds in the universe are like bubbles in the sea. All the sages and worthies are as fleeting as mere lightning. Even if an iron wheel whirled across my skull, meditation's wisdom light would still shine. So, clearly, pleasure is nicer than pain, and health is better than illness. But as long as we draw breath, we can practice the mindfulness and meditation of our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. Though the sun turned cold and the moon turned warm, not even an army of demons can destroy the truth. When an elephant pulls a cart up a mountain, has anyone seen a mantis block its way? Elephants do not follow rabbit trails. Enlightenment is not confined by minor rules. Do not vilify the sky when you are looking at it through a reed. If you still do not understand, this is for you. Let us practice a bit of the old Trek show. The third, fourth, and fifth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path are simply kindness, kind communication, kind conduct, and kind commerce. May all beings practice have kind communication, conduct, and calmness for spontaneous and uncontrived. The Deceler practice, this evening's practice by chanting the four immeasurables. May everyone be free from misery, may everyone be happy, may no one be separated from the happiness, may everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging freed. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 11 hours or so, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.